Alright, we're live. What's going on, everybody? It's CC Sports back with another video, another live stream. We're live for the Washington Nationals franchise mode. If you guys have been catching up with the team, you know it's the end of April, and I'm going to be doing a monthly recap for the league. So I have a list of things right here that I'm going to go over, and then when I'm done going over those things, we're going to hop into this game, Aaron Sanchez versus Kyle Freeland at Coors Field. So, hope everybody's doing well today, obviously. So yeah, I have a whole list of stuff. I'm just gonna hop right into it right away, because, I got not much else to do. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. If you have, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, because I try to upload as much as I can. Obviously, I've taken a couple days off on days that I really should have posted. But I'm gonna try and get back on it. I got school ending in like a week or two, so I'm gonna be able to post all throughout the summer. Try and post as much as I can. Try to get like a video a day once the summer rolls around. So that'll be cool. Definitely looking forward to that. As for the franchise, we are 13 and 16 right now, at the bottom of the NL East, but it's been fairly tight the whole time. Like we've been as high as, I want to say, second. But now the Mets, you could see 8 and 2 in their last 10. They're starting to pull away a little bit, having a 3-game division lead over Miami, Atlanta, Philly, and then us. But it's 1 game separating us and Miami for second and last, separated by 1 game. So a lot can happen. A lot will possibly happen in this episode. So right here, I'm gonna go over my all-star team for April, looking across the league. I'll provide you guys injury updates across the league, taking a look at some of the top prospects, taking a look at the players of the month, and also talking about the MVP for each team, as well as a list of the best hitters in the league as of right now, and the most surprising and most disappointing teams of the season. So first of all, let's go through the games. I'm going to try and provide a recap of every single game that I did. So this was a really sad game, losing 8-6 to the Mets on opening day. We really hopped on Jacob Degrom early. I had the home run from Nelly Cruz. There were a lot of hit by pitches in this game, and that was kind of weird. Yeah, we hopped on Jacob Degrom early. He only pitched 4 innings, but then Tyler McGill came in. Then I hit the home run with Nelson Cruz, right? So we started out with a 6-0 lead, and then we gave up 6 right back the next half inning, and that was kind of sad. That was really bad. And then we gave up 2 extra runs in the 8th, and we just could not seal the deal, really. Double from Louis Garcia, 2 RBIs from Louis Garcia, RBI from Soto, Cruz, and Robles. 2 double plays, Hernandez and Ruiz. So, yeah, that wasn't really a great game. Then we went back and faced the Mets again. Which game was it? It was, I believe it was it this one? Or, hold on, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. I believe it was this game. Yes, because this was the game that went to extra innings. Okay. Yep. This was the game that was 1-1. And then I almost closed in. Yeah, I remember Pete Alonso trying to steal the bag, and he came up miles short. So, double from Lucius Fox. Yes, this was the game that we faced Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer was really good this game. And for whatever reason, I just could not hit David Peterson. Then I guess Edwin Diaz went 2 innings, which is something that he can't really do in real life. We used an awful lot of bullpen in this game, too, with Finnegan, Harris, Rainey, Johan Adon, and Steve Cishek. But, I mean, that's kind of expected for an 11-inning game. So, yeah, it was scoreless for a while. Then the Mets scored. Then we struck back to take the 1-1 tie. Then in the top of the 11th... Oh, this was the game where I had that base running blunder, where I think I got doubled off. Like, something really dumb, like, inexcusable on the base paths that happened. The early couple of games I was kind of rusty, and I really disappointed myself with the way I was playing. Then we went to Pittsburgh, right? And everything got figured out. Like, what was it? Bryce Wilson had a no-hitter through 4 innings, I think, through the first 4 no-hit. Pittsburgh ended up scoring a run off of Patrick Corbin, but then we erupted with 3 in the 5th and then 5 in the 6th. Yeah, 3 RBIs for Nelson Cruz, 2 for Lane Thomas, 2 for Juan Soto, 1 for Victor Robles, 2 hit by pitches in this game as well. And of course, Patrick Corbin able to go the full distance, giving up only 2 runs in 9 innings of really solid low pitch, high ground ball rate baseball. Then the next game that we did was this game right here against Merrill Kelly. This was a fun game. We scored in the 3rd inning, I believe. Was that Yadiel Hernandez or Cesar Hernandez? Cesar Hernandez hit a home run in the bottom of the 3rd to get the scoring started. Then we gave up 2 runs in the top of the 5th with Anibal Sanchez. Then we took Sanchez out of the game in the 6th inning. At that point, he was the winning pitcher. So, bottom of the 5th, we had the big 3-run home run from Juan Soto. So then we took the lead. Yeah, it was 4-2. Then in the top of the 8th, we gave up another run. It was Will Harris. But then Victor Arano was able to shut the door, and we ended up holding off Arizona, winning the game 4-3. So that was good. And then the last game was this game. The most recent game that I did was the Keibert Ruiz walk-off against Miami, scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th to open up the scoring after Trevor Rogers was dealing that whole game. He was doing really good. I was not able to hit him as well as I could. I had multiple pitches that he left up in the zone, like hangers that I could have knocked out. There was the one pitch to Soto that missed the home run by, I think it was 4 feet. So that was very deflating, but we were able to get him back, able to have him give up a couple runs anyway. And they tied up the game in the top of the 8th. We were able to luckily get out of in the top of the 10th. Keibert Ruiz with the amazing glove behind the plate. I was throwing a whole bunch of balls in the dirt. There were a couple balls I could have gotten away and scored, the run. Would have scored the run that would have made us lose the game. But Keibert Ruiz was really good behind the dish, was able to smother just about every ball that went in the dirt. Riley Thompson got hurt after the first out. Pitched, 3 pitches, I think it was, 2 or 3 pitches, and then had to get taken out. Johan Adon we put in, and he was phenomenal. 4 2/3 of 4-hit, no-run baseball. Paulo Espino, Sean Doolittle blew the save when he gave up the 2 runs in the 8th. But Tanner Rainey was able to become the winning pitcher after Keibert Ruiz hit the walk-off in the bottom of the 10th. As we had Lane Thomas and Andy Young both caught stealing, and they were both out by a mile. Base running was 0 for 3 in this game. That's pretty bad, stealing bases. Alright. But now here we are, May 3rd. The draft is in 29 days. I believe according to an email that I got in my inbox, I think we have the first pick in the draft. If the Nationals had the worst record in the league last year, which I'm not sure if they did. It must have been Baltimore. So there's no way the Nationals had the worst record in the league last year. So I I deleted the message before I was able to see what pick I got, so I'm not quite sure where we pick in the draft. But it's obviously the Nationals finishing less than the NL East last year. They're gonna have a pretty good draft pick for this upcoming season, for the upcoming draft, which will be, I think, June 1st. So, yeah, let's take a look at what we got. So we got the calendar, play the next game, scouting, okay. Now, I was looking at the trade block. I've been looking at the trade block. I adjusted it because we have so many bad positions that we could just take anybody at this point. Analyzing the trade block. One guy that I did see that I really like, Francisco Mejia, was up here, but he's hitting 234 this year. I really want to load up on prospects this year, and I was exploring trades, and I found a good trade for Nolan Gorman right here. He's a second baseman, 68 overall, A potential, 21-year-old. Has a little bit of big league experience, big league service time, but has not actually participated in a game yet. So with the $80,000 that he's making prospect money, so I might try and acquire him. Other than that, excuse me, I don't see anybody that I really have my eye on yet. I'm not gonna make any trades really until the deadline. So if he's available then I'll trade for him. Which coincidentally we actually play the St. Louis Cardinals at the deadline. The team that actually has Nolan Gorman right now. Alright, so what could I do? Do transactions, contracts, no. Okay. So let's take a look at the standings really quick. Let's take a look at the league standings. So we got the Mets in the lead in the NL East, 3 games ahead of the Marlins, who are half a game ahead of the Braves, tied with the Phillies, who are half a game ahead of us. We're last. In the Central, NL Central, the Brewers lead by 4 games over the Pirates, so they have a very comfortable gap. Who's leading by half a game over the Reds and the Cardinals, who are leading by 2 games over the Cubs. So the Cubs are pretty far down. The Cardinals will probably get better, and you can see they're starting to streak a little bit. They're won 4 games in a row, so they're getting back on their horse, and they're gonna move back up the standings again. NL West, we got the Padres up by 2.5 over the Dodgers, who are leading by a game over the Giants, who are leading by 2 over the Rockies, and then by 3 over the Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks are kind of a lost team. Rockies, we're starting to play the Rockies on a point where they're also starting to become really good as well. After they've won 5 in a row, they're 7-3 in their last 10. So we're not facing them at a very opportunistic time. In the American League East, Red Sox lead by 2.5 over the Blue Jays, lead by a game and a half over the Rays. Then a game back is the Orioles, and then a half game back for the Yankees, who are 5.5 back. But I feel like the Yankees are gonna get on a hot streak at some point, and they're not gonna be last for very long. They'll be up there before they know it. So AL Central, Twins up by a game over the Guardians and the White Sox. So that's a very tightly contested division. A lot of competition going on there. Before you have the Tigers, 7 games back, and the Royals 10.5. The Royals are by far the worst team in the league. Then in the American League West, have the Astros up by a game and a half over the Angels. Then the Rangers 5 games back, the Mariners 6 back, and the Athletics 7.5 back. So the best win streak right now goes to the Cardinals at W4. Or no, the Rockies, right, W5. And then the longest losing streak right now is L5 for the Phillies and L5 for the Diamondbacks. So I was looking at the game scores for the past month. I was looking at it yesterday. There's not been a no-hitter yet in this season, but there's been numerous occasions where guys have come close, like Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber's, I think, pitched 2 one-hitters so far this season. So he's come 1 hit shy on 2 separate occasions. There's been other guys that have done it, but Shane Bieber is the guy that instantly pops into my head. Team rankings. We could take a look at team rankings, I would say. So we're 13 and 16. But if we take a look at the team rankings, we're second in batting average. So that means our pitching has not been good at all this year. Our pitching has been a really, weak point within the team. So the Mets are first. They're the only team that we're behind. And at bats, the Blue Jays lead, and we are 11th, but that doesn't really matter. Runs, we're third. We're third in runs scored. So for a team that's like 5 games under 500, we've probably given up a boatload of runs. The Boston Red Sox have the best offense in the league as of right now. We're third, which is no surprise because we have, Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, both been amazing this year. Josh Bell's been good. We're fourth in hits, which again is not a surprise considering we have, at this point, multiple 300 plus average hitters. Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, Josh Bell is on his way up there. He's getting a little better. He's starting to heat up. The Mets are first in hits. Then doubles, Miami's first. Brian De La Cruz has 17 doubles. We are tied for 24th. So we're like at the bottom. Speed is a very big issue with this team. That is something that I have noticed, is that we don't have as much speed as I think we should have. And obviously we got pieces. Like, we don't lead in stolen bases. Like, we're not a good competitive stolen base team whatsoever. So speed is something that you got to work on. But if there's a problem that you want to have within a team, it's probably the speed. Like triples, Tampa Bay is tied for first with Milwaukee. We are actually tied for third in triples because Lucius Fox has 3 triples this year. And he's coming off the bench. Lucius Fox has been really, really good for us coming off the bench this year. Toronto's leading the league in home runs. We're third. RBIs, we're third. Boston's first. So it seems like the top 3 teams in offense this year are us, Boston, and Toronto. Those are really the 3 guys that are carrying the league in terms of offensive production. Stolen bases, of course, like I mentioned, we're one of the worst, tied for 27th. Chicago's first, but that's no surprise. They got Seiya Suzuki, Jonathan Villar, Nico Horner. You see right there, they have a lot of speed on that team. A lot of guys that have to steal bases, like obviously Villar. Caught stealing. We don't usually attempt to steal that much. Tied for 13th, but still getting caught stealing 10 times is a lot. Boy, I'm really tired. I gotta stop yawning. Alright, Milwaukee's first in caught stealing with 3 this year. Stolen base percentage, we're 25th. Milwaukee's first. Base on balls, Pittsburgh's first. We should be around the top in that department. Tied for 18th. That's not by the top, but Juan Soto is really the main reason. Without Juan Soto, we'd be so much further down the list. Strikeouts, we've struck out way less than anybody else, which is very good. It means we're putting the ball in play, which is very important, because only good things can happen when you put the ball in play. Slugging percentage, we're third, because we have guys that have been hitting home runs this year, and Nelson Cruz, how amazing he's been, his first month of the year. Toronto's first. On base percentage, we're 5th. The Mets are first. Total bases, we are 3rd. Toronto's first. Plate appearances, that probably doesn't matter either, but we're 12th. First is Pittsburgh. Double plays, we ground into double plays pretty often. Josh Bell has not grounded into a double play yet this year. One of the reasons why we're tied for 21st. As Toronto only grounded out into double plays 9 times this year. Pittsburgh first in assists, we are tied for 14th. For putouts, Toronto's first, and we are tied for 18. With defensive errors. Yeah, tied for 21st. That's something that I noticed that has not been that great within the teams that our defense is not that good. St. Louis first, what a surprise. They got all those gold glovers. They got Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, Dylan Carlson, Paul Goldschmidt, Paul DeYoung, Tommy Edman, Edmundo Sosa. They have like amazing fielders like all around. There's no position on this team where there's really a bad fielder. And because of that, they're also first in fielding percentage. And we are 24th. Now on to pitching stats. San Diego has the lowest ERA this year. And we're 29th because our starters have not been good, which if you take a look at the rotation, it's understandable. I don't think we have a single, starting pitcher over 75 overall right now, which obviously is going to change when Steven Strasburg comes back from his thoracic outlet, but for now, it's a really major weak spot within this team. Cleveland has the most complete games this year with 6. Shane Bieber has 4 complete games this year. We have 1, obviously Patrick Corbin, that game that I played. Shutouts were Cleveland's first, as all 6 of their complete games were shutouts. That's pretty interesting. We don't have a shutout yet. We're one of the few teams to not have one, along with Chicago and Pittsburgh. With saves, tied for first is Minnesota and Houston. We're going to be around the mid-pack, I want to say. Yeah, tied for 15th. Victor Arano has all our saves this year. He's been really good early on. Very happy with how he's been. Tied for the least blown save. Every team's blown a save at this point. Tampa Bay, Chicago, White Sox, and the Phillies, all tied for first. And in blown saves, we are tied for 12th. Paulo Espino has 2. So that's concerning. Least hits allowed, Cleveland's first. We are 29th. So yeah, you can tell, like, we are completely opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to hits, or when it comes to bats and pitching. Like, bats were one of the best, but because of that, our pitching's kind of neutralizing that, making us arguably worse, and that's why we are, as bad as we are this year. Runs allowed, Cleveland's given up the fewest. And we're 26th. Earned runs, Cleveland first. We're tied for 28th. Home runs allowed, San Diego's first. Now, the home run ball was something that we've actually been good with this year. So we have not given up a lot of home runs at all. Being 8th, that's pretty good. Walks given up. Tampa Bay's first. We are 28th. Yohan Adonis walked 23 guys this year. Wow. Eric Fetty's only walked 9, so that's a pretty good stat. Strikeouts, Milwaukee's first. Look at that top 3. When you have a top 3 of Burns, Peralta, and Woodruff, yeah, you're going to get a lot of Ks. And we are tied for 23rd, because we're not bad with striking guys out. Win percentage, Boston, Minnesota, and San Diego all tied for first. And then we are 23rd. Patrick Corbin's won every single game he started this year where he has a decision. Yohan Adonis, 25% of his games. Alright, so that's the team statistics. Now I guess we could take a look at the league leaders too. Let's take a look at American League leaders first. Batting average is G-Man Choi. Hits is also G-Man Choi. At bats is J.P. Crawford. Cedric Mullins leads in doubles. Then triples is tied Trevor Story and Robbie Grossman. Home runs is Jose Ramirez. Ribeye Steaks, G-Man Choi, and Bobby Delbeck. Runs is Teoscar Hernandez, Nate Lowe, Rafi Devers, and Mike Trout. Stolen bases is a 4-way tie again. Bo Bichette, Mike Trout, Cedric Mullins, and Javi Baez. Mike Trout's walked the most, and he leads in on base percentage. Jose Ramirez leads in slugging and OPS. Then wins is tied Shane Bieber, Dylan Cease, and Tanner Houck. Losses, all these guys have no losses. Nestor Cortez, Zach Lowe, Luis Gill, Dylan Cease, Zach Plesac, Tariq Skubal, Jose Suarez, Jordan Lyles, Tanner Houck, and Nick Pivetta. In saves, Ryan Presley leads. ERA, Shane Bieber by almost a whole run over his own teammate, Zach Plesac. So, the top two in Cleveland's rotation, very, very strong so far this year. Home runs allowed, Shane Bieber, Patrick Sandoval, Luis Garcia, and Dylan Cease have all allowed only one. Shane Bieber has pitched 4 shutouts, by far the most. Strikeouts, Kevin Gausman leads. Then complete games, again, Shane Bieber. Innings pitched, Shane Bieber. Walks allowed, Hyunjin Ryu has given up the least walks. Shane Bieber leads in whip. Pitching war and the batting war is Jose Ramirez. So, a lot of the top spots are dominated by, Cleveland players, be it Jose Ramirez, Shane Bieber, or, Zach Plesac. There's a lot of Cleveland representation at the top of these leaderboards. Hey, look at that. Andres Jimenez hitting 341. Former Met. And taking a look at the National League. Chris Taylor's first with 415. He's the only guy hitting over 375 this year, or 380. Yeah, he's the only guy hitting over 380. And then Juan Soto's there, he's in 5th. In hits, Chris Taylor's first. Nelson Cruz is tied for 2nd. At bats, Jonathan Villar's first. Nelson Cruz is tied for 4th. Brian Deli Cruz is first in doubles by a wide margin. It's not even close. In triples, it's Wilmer Defoe, Bryce Harper, May, Adam Duvall, and Lucius Fox, all at the top. Is Wilmer Defoe an everyday player? 26 games. Yeah, Lucius Fox is the only non-everyday player on the top 4 in triples. Home runs, Nelly Cruz is P1. He's also P1 in ribbies. In runs, Brian Deli Cruz is first, Juan Soto is 3rd, tied with Nelson Cruz and Jake Cronenworth. Tommy Edman, Trent Grisham, and Tommy Pham are all tied for first in stolen bases. Juan Soto is tied for first with Daniel Vogelbach in walks. On base percentage, Chris Taylor's first, Juan Soto's 3rd. Slugging percentage, Nelson Cruz is first, and Juan Soto's 3rd. OPS, Nelson Cruz is 2nd, and Juan Soto's 3rd, yet again, to Chris Taylor. Wins, Max Fried and Joe Musgrove are tied for first. Then in losses, we have Kyle Mueller, Eliezer Hernandez, Julio Rodriguez, Corbin Burns, Adrian Hauser, Joe Musgrove, Zach Davies, Patrick Corbin, and Max Kranick. All those guys have not lost a game yet this year. Saves, Josh Hader and Blake Treinen are tied for first, but Victor Rano right there in 3rd. ERA, Max Fried is first. There's no Nats there. Home runs allowed, Jacob Degrom and Kyle Hendricks, the only pitchers in the league, starting pitchers eligible, that have not given up a home run yet. Shutouts, Jacob Degrom, Corbin Burns, and Joe Musgrove all have 2. Strikeouts, Mike Clevenger is first. Complete games, Corbin Burns is first. Patrick Corbin obviously tied for 4th with his 1 complete game that he has. Innings pitched, Max Fried is first. Walks allowed, Max Fried, Zach Wheeler, and Alex Wood have all allowed the least. In whip, Corbin Burns is first. And pitching war, Corbin Burns is also first again. And then in batting war, Juan Soto first, Nelson Cruz 3rd. So basically our team is Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, and everybody else, which I don't know if I really expected anything different, honestly. We'll take a look at the awards in a second. Let's take a look at how this team has been so far this year. So taking a look, Luis Garcia hitting 244 so far this season. He hasn't been terrible. Hasn't been good, but could be worse. Josh Bell is starting to pick it up. He was like a 220, 230 hitter at multiple points early on in the season, but it seems like as of late he's starting to pick it up a tiny bit. Juan Soto, 349. I mean, what else does he do? He's phenomenal. Nelson Cruz going crazy this year as well, 333 with his 13 home runs. Yadiel Hernandez has really struggled, 211. Cesar Hernandez has been even worse, 180. Keibert Ruiz, 253. He's quite streaky, I feel like. At times he could be really good, other times he's not so great. The future of the big leagues, Andy Young, 234. He's been doing better as of late. He's starting to heat up. So hopefully we can ride his momentum. Victor Robles at 269. He hasn't played a whole lot. He only plays against righties, I'm pretty sure. He wasn't in the lineup against the lefties at all. There's been times where he hasn't been in the lineup. But he looks like he's deserving of it, hitting 269 this year. Lane Thomas has been really good off the bench, 322. He has started, I don't know how many games, it doesn't say. Michael Franco hitting 208, but the power is there with 3 home runs off the bench. Riley Adams has been underratedly good, hitting 320. I don't think I've used him yet, though, this year. And then Lucius Fox hitting 388. But he's been incredible. Then our pitching rotation, Eric Fetty's been probably our... it's been Eric Fetty and Patrick Corbin been the guys this year. Fetty at 319, Corbin at 321. They're both doing good. Anibal Sanchez at 611. He's really struggled. Josiah Gray at 7-2. He's only pitched 5 innings. We just called him up because Riley Thompson went on the IL. And then Aaron Sanchez at an 8.76. So he struggled too. In the bullpen, Yohan Adon started a couple games. He's actually pitched more innings than anybody else on this team. And he's not even in our, rotation. But he's at a 5.45 ERA. Tanner Rainey at 3.86, so he's doing alright. Paulo Espino's doing pretty good, at 2.42. Steve Cishek really struggling with his 11 ERA. Kyle Finnegan also struggling with a 5.87. Will Harris doing really good, really good with a 1.29. Sean Doolittle with a 2.53, also having a pretty good year. And then Victor Arano's been lights out as a closer. 8 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 0 ERA. Has not blown a save yet. 8 for 8 in the save opportunities. So now let's take a look at the awards. Who's leading right now? So frontrunners for MVP, Nelson Cruz and Ji-Man Choi. So far the frontrunners for MVP. Cy Young, Max Fried leads the way for the National League with Shane Bieber in the American League. Batting title is Chris Taylor and Ji-Man Choi. Reliever of the year is Blake Trinan and Liam Hendricks. Neither of them have given up a run yet. Victor Arano second. Rookie of the year, Lucius Fox is first, leading the way, with Zach Rex leading in American League. Hank Aaron, Chris Taylor's first, behind 2 Nats, Nelson Cruz and Soto, with American League being led by Jose Ramirez. Gold Gloves, we have Cole Sulser and Hyunjin Ryu. At catcher, we have Travis d'Arnaud with Keibert Ruiz in second, and then Robinson Chirinos in the American League. First baseman, Garrett Cooper and Ryan Mountcastle. Second base, Jazz Chisholm, Trevor Story. Third base, we have Luis Arias actually beating Nolan Arenado right now, and Matt Chapman. National League for shortstop, Nico Horner and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. In left field, we have Jesus Sanchez and Austin Hayes. Center field, Brandon Nimmo and Cedric Mullins. And then right field, we have Adam Duvall with Juan Soto in second and Aaron Judge in first. Silver Slugger DH, we have JD Martinez, and they don't have a Silver Slugger DH in this game yet for National League. At catcher, we have Robinson Chirinos first and Travis d'Arnaud in first. Silver Slugger first base is Ji-Man Choi and Pete Alonso. Josh Bell is third. Jose Altuve for second base and Jonathan India for second base. Third base, we have Nolan Arenado and Jose Ramirez. Shortstop, Wander Franco and Brendan Crawford. And then in the outfielders, we have Haniger Teoscar Hernandez, and Cedric Mullins. Then Hunter Renfroe, Chris Bryant, and Juan Soto. That's what those awards look like. How about the All-Stars? So far leading the way for starting pitcher, Max Fried, Corbin Burns, Joe Musgrove, Julio Rodriguez, and Jacob Degrom. As we don't have a national at all in the top 9. Have it in the top 10. Nope. Now for relievers, we have Bailey Falter and Jesse Chavez. Victor Ramos 8th. After the solid starts of the year that he's been having. If we switch him to a closer, he'd probably be up there with Josh Hader. Then in the National League is Josh Hader and Edwin Diaz. We don't actually have an official closer, so he's not on, well, Tanner Rainey, but he's not our closer really on this squad. In the American League for catchers, Salvador Perez. Oh, I didn't even look at the American League. Alright, catcher, we have Travis d'Arnaud. Keibert Ruiz is in third. At first base, Matt Olson is leading the way in his first year. In Atlanta with Josh Bell 8th. Second base, Jonathan India leading the way with, we don't have a top 10 guy. Cesar Hernandez is 11th though. Third base is Jonathan VR. And again, nobody in the top 10. Shortstop, Brandon Crawford's first. Lucius Fox is 5th. And that's it for us in the top 10. Left field is Chris Taylor. And that's it. Center field is Brian De La Cruz. And 7th is Victor Robles. And then Nelson Cruz and Juan Soto leading the way, both at the top for right fielders. So our outfield game is very strong. Taking a look at the American League, it's Shane Bieber, Zach Plesac, Dylan Cease, Tanner Houck, and Justin Verlander. For relievers, we have Drew Steckenrider and Reynaldo Lopez. Closing pitchers, Raisel Iglesias and Liam Hendricks. Catchers, Sal Perez. First base, Nate Lowe. Second base, Adam Frazier. Third base, Jose Ramirez. Shortstop, Wander Franco. Left field, JD Martinez. Center field, Mike Trout. And right field, Teoscar Hernandez. Okay, so let's take a look at the guys that won Player of the Month for this month. In the American League, Shane Bieber won Pitcher of the Month. He went 4-1 in 5 games with the .066 ERA, 33 strikeouts. G-Man Choi won Player of the Month, hitting .383 with 7 home runs. And Riley Green took home Rookie of the Month with .274, 2 home runs, 7 ribbies. In the National League, Blake Trinan was Pitcher of the Month with 10 games with 0 ERA in his relief appearances. 9 strikeouts. Nelson Cruz doubled up with Nationals right here. Nelson Cruz Player of the Month, .350 average, 12 home runs. And Rookie of the Month, Lucius Fox. With his .388 batting average. Alright, so I'm going to update you guys on injury list and top prospects in a second. First thing I wanted to talk about was that April All-Star team that I have. Alright, here I have it all in this notepad right here that I was working on. Alright, so my April All-Star team. So first we're going to take a look at catchers. And my American League catcher that I nominate is Austin Hedges. Hedges is having a great start to the year, hitting .339 with 1 home run and 7 ribbies. So the power numbers are not there, but he's certainly getting on base at a good clip. Better than he's ever had in his career by a wide margin. He's never hit over .250 in a single season in his career. But he's looking really good at possibly doing that right now, this year. Then for the National League in catchers, I have Travis d'Arnaud. Darno's also having a good year, in position to duplicate what he did in 2020. Has a 300 average with 7 home runs and 17 RBIs. So he keeps it up, he's going to crush his career high of 16 from 2019 and 2017 when he was his second to last year with the Mets. So now at first base, my pick would be right here, Ji-Man Choi. He's having an incredible start too. 377, 8 home runs, 29 RBIs. He's been a killer this year. At 30 years old. And then for Atlanta, Matt Olson will be my pick. In his first year in Oakland, hitting 379. Way better than anything he's ever done in his career. By almost 100 points. Over 100 points. From his previous career high, which was the previous season at 271. 5 home runs, 16 RBIs. So the power numbers are not where they were last year, I don't think. But he's making up for it with the rate at which he's getting on base. Second base. My second baseman of the month is going to be Trevor Story. In his first month in a Boston Red Sox uniform, hitting 349 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. Then on the National League side, I picked Garrett Hampson. Garrett Hampson's hitting 299 with 2 home runs and 10 RBIs, so he's also having a really good start. He's another guy that really hasn't had much success in his career, a career 244 hitter with only 26 home runs, but he's looking like he's going to have a career year this year, and this might be the start of something for Garrett Hampson. Then at third base, I feel like there's no debate that it'd be Jose Ramirez. With his 11 home runs, 344 batting average, so he's putting up the power numbers and the average. Without a doubt, the best hitter in the league. As of right now, early on in this season. Then on the National League side at third base, Nolan Arenado. Hitting 316 in his second year in St. Louis with 5 home runs and 16 RBIs. He's been fantastic, having a career year as of right now. In batting average, only by 1 point though. See if he can keep it up. Now taking a look at shortstops. I picked standout sensation Wander Franco. In 1 month, he already matched his total home runs from the year before. Hitting better than he did last year. It seemed like all he could do was hit the baseball last year. And this year he's doing even better at 311. Then for the National League, call me biased, but I picked Lucius Fox. Because although he has not played a lot, he's been effective every time he's played. 388 batting average. Like if he was in the lineup more, I think he could really show what he's got. Plus with Alcides Escobar on the IL, this is definitely his chance to shine. Now the outfielders. I'm going to go through all 3 in the American League, then I'll go through the 3 in the National League. The first one is pretty obvious. You know, Mike Trout. How you can't have a list of the best fielders, best guys in the outfield this year without going to Mike Trout. You know, hitting 310, 7 home runs. It just looks like pedestrian Mike Trout numbers, but it's phenomenal the stuff that he's able to do on the ball field. Then my other 2 outfielders are AL East players. We have in right field Teoscar Hernandez, hitting 330 with 9 home runs, 17 RBIs. And then we have Tampa Bay, Randy Arozarena. Arozarena not doing all MLB type play. Still 282 is a really good start to the year. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. Then on the National League side, we have the first guy. It's pretty obvious. It is Juan Soto. 349 start to the year, going crazy. 6 home runs, 19 RBIs. Putting up his more walks than strikeouts than he normally does. Next we have the Dodgers, where I'll take a look at Chris Taylor, which the only guy, he's putting up Ted Williams numbers in the first month of the season, hitting .415 in 26 games with 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. And then the last outfielder that I have is on the Mets, actually, and it is their center fielder, Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo hitting .274 this year with 3 home runs and 15 RBIs. Getting on base at a high rate. At about .390, which is about on par with his career average. Now for the starting pitchers. The first one that I'm taking a look at right here is Shane Bieber. We're seeing 49 2/3 with a .54 ERA. That's just unheard of. And the fact that he's 26, like, that's crazy, dude. He has 1 year left on his contract, so maybe we shoot for him this offseason. We'll see. He's going to ask for a boatload of money, though. Then after Shane Bieber, we're going to go to the White Sox and go to their young player, Dylan Cease. Has a 2.31 ERA. He's off to a great start this year as well. Has 6 starts. 5 out of 6 were quality starts. Hyunjin Ryu is the next guy in Toronto. Pitching to a 1.83 ERA, looking more like that form that he was in back in 2018, when he was widely regarded as the best pitcher of baseball at that time. 3-3. Half of his starts were quality starts. So it looks like that doesn't really reflect the 1.83 ERA. The next guy is the first, I believe, the first Yankee to pop up on this list. It's Garrett Cole, putting up a 3.03 ERA. So far at this point in the year, 3-2. So a little bit down for Garrett Cole, but still very, very good, all-star worthy nonetheless. Then we have for Houston, Louis Garcia. If I could get to him. Pitching to a 2.41 ERA in the first month of the year. Entering his second full season of big league play. And he's shown up, hit the ground running to start the year. Then on the NL side, we have Corbin Burns as the first guy, with his 1.53 ERA in 47 innings. He is 5 out of 6 when it comes to quality starts. Next guy is Atlanta's Max Fried, pitching to a 1.21 ERA, going 5-1 in 7 starts. All 7 of his starts have been ranked as quality starts, so he's definitely having a really good start to the year. Next up is that 1-2 punch for the New York Mets this offseason with Jacob Degrom with 2.16. Struggled a little bit on opening day, obviously, as we nailed him pretty hard, but he's been able to rebound strongly, and he's been very good since then. And then Max Scherzer with a 2.97 ERA in his first month as a New York Met. 5 out of his 6 starts, first 6 starts with the team, have been quality starts. And then the other starting pitcher that I will be looking at is Kyle Hendricks. pitching to a 2.09 ERA, going 1-2 so far this season. Quality starts in 5 of his 6 appearances. Then our DHs. For Boston, for the American League, Rafael Devers is my DH that I chose. He's hitting .339 this year, which is by far the best he's ever done in his career, with 9 home runs and 18 RBIs. Strong start for him. And then for the NL, there's really only one choice right here, and that's our designated hitter, Nelson Cruz, with his .333 start, 13 home runs, 28 RBIs. It's just ageless. Able to do this at age 41. It's pretty crazy. Then for relievers, I picked 2 relievers. For the White Sox is the first one. I picked Reynaldo Lopez. He's off to a great start with a 2.51 ERA. He's 3-1, so he's gotten a few records this year. He's gotten a few game decisions. Has 1 hold this season. With a 102 whip, so he's keeping that relatively low too. Oh. And then the other guy is Christian Javier for the Houston Astros, putting up a 1.89 ERA this year in 19 innings, so he's been off to a very reliable start this year, being used as a multi-inning reliever, averaging over 2 innings pitched per appearance. So he's been quite reliable. And I think is this guy for the NL. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even sure what team this guy's on. Bailey Falter. Oh, he's with Philly, right? Yeah, here he is. Bailey Falter. He's put up an 0.51 ERA so far this season. 1-0. 17 2/3 innings. He's been pretty good, averaging almost a strikeout an inning. He's a relatively young guy, only pitched in 22 games last year with 2.561 ERA, and is doing miles and miles better than that this year. Then the last guy I believe is now in Cincinnati, yes, and it is Art Warren. He's not really putting up the numbers looking at that. But he's pitched an awful lot. 21 games, 23 innings, so he's been used a lot out of the bullpen. And I'm not really sure why I picked him. So that's a look at your MLB April All-Star team. Next, I want to update on some injuries that are going on around the league. So first off, let's start with Boston. Chris Sale still recovering from his injuries, Tommy John, and the complications that he's had recently. Still going to be out for another 1 to 2 months. Then we have the 2 Tommy John surgeries. Nick Anderson still going to be out for 4 to 5 months, as is Tyler Glasnow. Now with Houston, Lance McCullers. He's going to be out for 1 to 2 months still. And then a big injury right here. Alex Bregman dislocated his ankle in a game a few weeks ago. He's going to be out for the remainder of the season. So only getting in 21 games, but was doing really good. 295 with 5 home runs. So a big loss. That left side of the infield just becomes more empty after losing Correa to Minnesota in the offseason. Now they're losing Alex Bregman to injury. Then for Atlanta, Ronald Acuna on his way back from his injury. He's only going to be out 1 to 6 more days, so he should be coming back this week when his injury list time runs out in 3 days. Kirby Yates recovering from his Tommy John surgery. He's still going to be out 4 to 5 months. For Philly, Zach Wheeler got injured. He had a pulled back muscle, but he's only going to be out 1 to 6 days. So that should be no big deal. He's having a great start to the year, going 2.13 ERA. Obviously, for us, we have all these injuries to our starting pitching. Most notable, Steven Strasburg. He's still going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks as he recovers from his thoracic outlet surgery. Then Pittsburgh picked up a big injury early in the season, fractured forearm for Keibert Ruiz. But he's right at the end and he should be coming back sometime this week. St. Louis has a couple big injuries. Jack Flaherty has his injury that he's still recovering from. He's going to be out 1 to 2 months still. Hasn't played yet this year. And Paul Goldschmidt, similar to Alex Bregman, dislocated his ankle. He's going to miss the rest of the year. And then the last guy to update for San Diego is Fernando Tatis. After his injury sustained in that motorcycle crash that he was in, he's going to be out 1 to 2 months still before he comes back. So those are the injury updates. Now let's take a look at the top prospects for this upcoming year, how those guys are doing right now. Bobby Witt, the #1 prospect in all of baseball, has a .241 batting average this year with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. So he's been getting some home runs, but hasn't really gotten the average quite where he wants it yet. Same can be said for Spencer Torkelson, hitting .234 with 4 home runs and 12 RBIs. On the opposite side, this is teammate Riley Green, who's actually having a good start to the year, hitting .274 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. CJ Abrams, the #14 ranked prospect, hitting .253 so far this season with 1 home run and 5 RBIs. Jeremy Pena has really struggled trying to relieve for Carlos Correa, hitting .150 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. So yeah, big shoes to fill. The pressure's on him right now. 18th, Julio Rodriguez with a .272 batting average. He's hit 2 home runs this year with 5 RBIs. So he's off to a good start to his rookie campaign. Then we have Oneo Cruz for Pittsburgh. He's injured with a broken ankle, so he played only 11 games. He's hitting .256 this season with no home runs and 5 RBIs. So probably the next time I update, he still won't even be back yet. Hunter Green is next. Hunter Green has been really, really solid to start out his big league career. .324 ERA in 25 innings pitched with a 2-2 record in 5 starts. 2 of his 5 starts so far this year have been quality starts. Then we have 31st ranked Oswald Peraza. He struggled mightily with .182 so far this season. Has his first big league home run and 3 RBIs in the 10 games that he's played. Then we have a streak of guys that have been in the big leagues this year. Gabriel Arias with .211. He's not doing good. Tyler Freeman hitting .194. He's not doing good either. DL Hall with a .494 ERA. He's not doing good. And Nick Lodolo continuing the trend with a .771 ERA. An abysmal start to the year for Nick Lodolo. Now those are all the guys that are playing in the big leagues. How about some guys that are on the rise this year that are doing good? Jack Leiter's been lights out this year with a .139 ERA so far in his first 5 starts for the Rough Riders. 3 of his 5 starts so far this year have been quality starts. Next we have Grayson Rodriguez, who's been amazing. Injured with a strained finger, but he has a .87 ERA. And in 5 games started, 3 of those have been quality starts. Next prospect is Marco Luciano. He's had a good year, hitting .417 with 1 home run and 3 ribeye steaks to start out the year. After him, we got Mackenzie Gory. who's pitched to a 2.03 ERA in 31 innings pitched, 5 games started. 2 of those have been quality starts. Next is Jordan Lawler for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's hitting .333 with no home runs and 1 ribby at only 19, so he still has some time to mature. So he's having an incredibly good output for how young he is. Next up, we gotta scroll all the way down to number 32 to get to Andrew Painter, who's put up a 2.35 ERA in the first month of the year. In 4 games started, half of those being quality starts. Then we have next Zach Veen, who's been tearing the cover off the ball. .315 average with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. So he's been doing good as well. Then number 36, Sam Bachmann, at a .59 ERA in 30 2/3 innings. 3 out of 5 quality starts and a complete game. Sam Bachmann's got some endurance. It's late. Next up is Azalesi. Pitched to a 1.9 ERA in 23 2/3, 5 starts, only 1 quality start for him. But the numbers prove that he's been very effective so far this season. Next up is Gunnar Henderson, number 47 ranked overall prospect, at a 3.06 ERA, no home runs, 9 RBIs. Then is 49th Michael Busch. He's out with shoulder inflammation, but only for 1 to 6 days, so just a minor injury in the time that he has played. 3.04 average with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs, so he's been very good as well. And that's it for the prospect update. Next up, I want to take a look at this list of one guy that I would consider on every team to be the MVP, the best player so far this season for each team. First up, for the Baltimore Orioles, my pick would be Cedric Mullins. To be honest, 265 hitter, it just shows you nobody's really hitting on this team. 265 average, like, that's good, but that's not good for leading a team. Cedric, a step off of what he put up in the last couple of years, but it's right on par with how he's been in his career. He's off to a good start though. Boston, I would pick Trevor Story. I mentioned his stats before with a 349 batting average. For the Yankees, Garrett Cole with a 3.03 ERA. In 6 games started, 4 of those have been quality starts. For Tampa Bay, gotta scroll all the way down to get G-Man Choi at 377. Mention what he's doing. Toronto, we've probably mentioned all these guys already. Teoscar Hernandez at a 330 batting average. Chicago White Sox, mentioned already Dylan Cease, what he's been doing. Cleveland is Jose Ramirez. Detroit, it's Casey Mize. Was the guy that I actually picked out. Like we mentioned before when we were going through the standings, this is the second worst team in their division besides the Kansas City Royals. So they're not going to have many strong spots. So when your most valuable player is pitching to a 3.63 ERA, kind of gives you an idea of how your season's been. 3 quality starts and 6 starts for Casey Mize so far this season. For Kansas City, Zach Greinke, new addition to the team, coming back for the first time since he started his career out there in 2004. He's having a little bit of a resurgence with the 3.5 ERA. Not quite the form that he was in 2019, but it's certainly better than the steps back that seemed to take place when he was in Houston. So quite promising for a team that actually needs something good. For Minnesota, pick Byron Buxton. Byron Buxton is at 278 average with 6 home runs at this point in the season. For Houston, Louis Garcia with a 2.41 ERA. In 6 games started, half of those have been quality starts. For the LA Angels, it's Mike Trout with his 310 batting average and 7 home runs. For Oakland, haven't mentioned him, Ramon Laureano. He's having a good year, 278. Start out the year, 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. Next up for Seattle would be Marco Gonzalez, I picked. He's pitched to a pretty low 2.66 ERA, which is a lot lower than anything he's ever done in his career, with a career 3.98 ERA, so this is most certainly a step up for him. 5 out of his 6 starts have been quality starts, so he's putting in a lot of effort. He's been very successful on the mound. For Texas, did Nate Lowe. Had a 3.42 ERA, a 3.42 batting average, with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. Beating his career high from last year by almost 80 points in the average department. Then we're on to the NL. For Atlanta, Matt Olson. I already mentioned him. For Miami, I picked Jazz Chisholm. He's putting up a 2.55 ERA, or a 2.55 batting average. Gotta get that in my head. 4 home runs with 13 RBIs. The next for the Mets is Jacob Degrom, which, surprise, surprise, right? For the Phillies, it's Kyle Schwarber, who is now all of a sudden hitting for average, 120 points above his career mean average for a season. 5 home runs, 20 RBIs. Then for Washington, for us, it's pretty clearly Juan Soto at 3.49. 6 home runs, 19 RBIs. For the Cubs, Yan Gomes at a 3.75 with 6 home runs and 9 RBIs. He's had a great start to the year. Cincinnati, the second-year player Jonathan India, going up almost 80 points in the batting average. 7 home runs, 20 RBIs. Next up for Milwaukee, Corbin Burns with his 1.53 ERA. 6 games started, he has 5 quality starts. For Pittsburgh, it's the big man, Daniel Vogelbach. Hitting 370 so far this year, which is way up what he usually does. 2 home runs, 14 RBIs. His past career high was 219 last year. Now he's at, 150 points. Big improvement. Still early in the season, but it's significant. He could honestly, his batting average last year was so bad that he could probably not even get a hit for the rest of the year and still beat that. St. Louis, Nolan Arenado. Not leading in the Gold Glove voting, as we mentioned before, but 3.16 batting average. Still getting it done with the bat in his hands. Arizona, where everybody seems to be cold, chose Jordan Luplow. He's in quite the similar spot to Vogelbach, hitting 350. 4 home runs, 8 RBIs, a lot better than his career numbers seem to show. Colorado mentioned Garrett Hampson in the start that he's been on with his 2.99 batting average. LA Dodgers mentioned Chris Taylor in the numbers that he's been putting up earlier this year. For San Diego, I chose Trent Grisham with a 2.57 batting average with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. Almost more walks than strikeouts. He's been very good on the base paths as well, 7 for 8 with stolen bases so far this year. And then for San Francisco, their best player, in my eyes, was Brandon Crawford. He's hitting 275 this year with 6 home runs. Now we're going to do 2 more things. Talk about the top 10 best hitters in the league as of right now. Then I'm going to break down 5 surprising teams and 5 teams that have been disappointing so far in the season. Then I'm going to end off the stream because I am tired. It's 12 o'clock. But I want to keep this promise. You guys are going to get a double episode tomorrow. I'm going to do 1 game in the morning and then 1 game at night. And for the night game, I might stream commentary. So I'll be able to have that for you guys tomorrow. Or, well, today. If you're on the East Coast, it's 12 o'clock. Happy Thursday, right? Yeah. Alright. So top 10 best hitters. I have the list compiled right in front of me. Number 10. I think I mentioned all these guys already. Yeah, I mentioned all these guys on this live stream so far. So number 10, I chose Chris Taylor. At 415, it's kind of surprising that he's down here, but the power number is not quite where it should be. The slugging number, slugging percentage is not quite where you want it. 1200 OPS. I mean, slugging 660. He's not doing bad at all. But there's definitely guys on this list that I thought were doing better than him. Like Trevor Story, number 9. He's hitting 349 with 3 home runs. Number 8, I picked Cedric Mullins. He's hitting 265 with 5 home runs, so the power number's been there. And like we mentioned, he's been the best player on his team so far this year. I think this next guy is the only guy on this list that's not the best player on his team so far this year. At number 7, Nelson Cruz. So, 13 home runs this year, 333 batting average is not enough, I guess, taking into account fielding. Oh, best hitter. I don't know, he hasn't stolen a base and hasn't got caught stealing yet this year. Alright, 6th is Ji-Man Choi. Mentioned how good of a start multiple times. Mentioned how good of a start he's been on so far this year. With his 377 batting average. 8 home runs, 29 RBIs. Now we're on to the top 5. Number 5, in his first year with the Braves, Matt Olson. Number 4 for Toronto is Teoscar Hernandez with 330. The number 3 is for Washington, Juan Soto. Then our top 2, I think you could kind of guess who they are. Number 2, Mr. Reliable Mike Trout. And then at number 1 is Jose Ramirez at 11 home runs, 344 batting average. Alright, let's talk about the last thing. Surprising and disappointing teams. First, I'm going to go with the 5th most surprising team this year so far. If I go to the standings, it's the Boston Red Sox. So they were predicted in team rank, according to this, to have the 10th best rank in the league. They're the best team in the league right now, so an improvement of 9 spots. There's teams that are actually doing better than that. So now the 5th most disappointing team is the Yankees, and I think you can visibly tell that in the standings, 14 and 16. You see the 9th rank right there, but they're currently 17th in win percentage, which isn't bad, but it's definitely not what the Yankees expect to be, considering the roster that they have. 4th most surprising is the Baltimore Orioles, with the 26th rank, and they are 14th right now in win percentage, giving them a total of plus 12. The 4th most disappointing team so far is the LA Dodgers, 16 and 12. Now, to any team would love to have that, but when you're the LA Dodgers and you expect to be the best of the best, and you end up ninth, it's kind of disappointing. Third most surprising team. I chose the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now they're 14 and 15, which is a lot better than I thought they would be. I thought they would be hanging around the Royals territory right now, kind of where they are in the standings. But no, Pittsburgh's moved up 13 in predicted win percentage. They were 29th in team ranking. Now they're 16th in win percentage so far this year. Again, it's early. They could still fall off. There's still time. But with Keibert Ruiz coming back, this team might start hitting their stride at the right time. Third most disappointing team is the St. Louis Cardinals. I believe the stat is like they've been in the playoffs, 20 years in a row now? Almost. And yeah, right now they're kind of out of position to make the playoffs. They are 2 games back on the wild card, which is currently held by the Dodgers and the Giants. Cardinals with the 11th rank. They are 21st in win percentage, which is a minus 10 or a 10 place decrease based on expectation. So now the second most surprising team so far this year is the Guardians, which is technically not that surprising because they always find their way up there somehow. But they're 19th in team rank and they're 5th in the win percentage. So they've had a good year. And I mean, you should be putting up 18 wins when you have guys that are performing to the level of Shane Bieber, Jose Ramirez, Zach Plesac, just that whole team as a whole is really performing right now. Second most disappointing team in the league is the Seattle Mariners, which I guess, like, if you could relate it to one meme, it's like, we knew this was gonna be bad, but holy cow, like, it's one of those memes, It's kind of the season. Or was it 11 and 18? I mean, they were predicted to be somewhat decent. They had the 15th rank, but right now they're chilling at 27th right now at a minus 12 place decrease from the start of the season. So, kind of want to pick that up. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I didn't think they would be that bad. Then the most surprising team in the league so far this year, in a similar position to the Guardians, is the Minnesota Twins, where they usually tend to end up, up by the front as well. They are tied for first in win percentage with Boston and San Diego, but they were predicted to be 16th in team rank. And they're second on this list, which gives them a plus 14 increase based on preseason expectation. And the most disappointing team so far this year, the defending World Series champion Atlanta Braves. Second in the team rankings, but are currently sitting at 18th in the win percentage, a negative 16 place decrease. Now, obviously, they haven't had Acuna yet, returning from his torn ACL, but he will be back in a couple days. So we'll see what that does to the team. So yeah, that's all the 5 surprising and most disappointing teams. So taking a look at the month up ahead, we're going to face Colorado for 3, which, looking at the win percentage, that is a team that is 2 spots or 1 spot better than us, so we're around the same range, and you can tell by the record, 13 and 15 and 13 and 16. Then we play 3 versus the Angels, who are a lot better than us, 11 spots better than us. Then we have the Mets, who are about 15 spots better than us in the standings. Then we have Houston, which is 16 spots better than us. Then we have Miami, who are predicted to be 8 spots better than us in the standings right now. Milwaukee at 18 and 11, so they're clearly one of the better teams. We don't play a single series against a team with a worse record than us. I think that gives you a true perspective of where we are right now. And there's, what, 7 teams worse than us, so it's not like we're that bad. We're not terrible. There's so many teams, like... When is the next series that we play against a team worse than us? Is it right here, Baltimore? Nah, even Baltimore's better than us. Texas, right here. Yeah, Texas is worse than us. So we don't play another team with a worse record than us right now till the end of June. And we're 23rd. So that's, what, 7 other teams. So a quarter of the league is still, worse than us. But we don't play any of those guys until the end of the month. The next month. So May might be tough sledding. A little slap of reality for us. Reality check to show us, where we really are as a team. So I guess that might be needed. So, well, we'll see. Should get a double episode tomorrow. Aaron Sanchez on the mound for the first game. Then for this game against the Mets, I have no idea who's going to be on the mound for us. It'll likely be, I guess, Eric Fetty against... who? Eric Fetty against Jacob Degrom. So that's going to be fun to face Jacob Degrom again. I always like facing Jacob Degrom. It's just fun because you never know what it's going to be like. Because I've played Jacob Degrom multiple times, so it's like... I don't know, sometimes it could go really good because it's Jacob Degrom. Other times he could do really bad. And I'll just know what he's on and I'll just hit him, hard. Hopefully I won't blow a 6-0 lead like I did on opening day. But we'll see. So yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe for more Washington Nationals MLB The Show 22 franchise. I'm going to go sleep. Get some much needed rest. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with a live stream. The live stream will not have commentary, but the stream, I will try to stream tomorrow night as well. And hopefully I will be able to provide some commentary on that one. Because that will be just like what tonight would have been, that game. So, yeah. Let me know if there's anything that you think I could do better with these monthly recaps. I'm going to keep doing the same thing every month, really, if I don't get any feedback. So, if you got anything that you want to see, anything that you want to know, please let me know. I'll be able to add it. I'll try to add it. And yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is CC Sports, saying goodbye. And I'll see you guys later today, technically. But, see you guys tomorrow on the next episode of the Washington Nationals MLB The Show 22 franchise mode. Thank you guys. Good night.